Hi, I come to sit in this park often. It's dilapidated, broken benches, rusted gates, fallen walls. 30% of it is always in the dark. The couples love it. It was, in fact, a romantic interest that introduced me to this place first. I try not to be snide about the couples canoodling in public. I would have liked to be them at one point. This park represents a lot about how I feel about old Rajinder Nagar, colloquially called ORN. It's not a great place to live. Most roads are dug up, and the remaining roads are full of potholes. And in order to travel through them, you have to submit yourself to inhaling in a cloud of particulate dust kicked up by the oncoming traffic, which then mixes with the noxious Delhi air and the stench of the popular Gold Chakkar men's public toilet. Fun fact, during winters, you can smell this toilet from as far as 400 feet away. And I know this because 800 feet is how far I hold my breath. There's apparently a bench outside this toilet also. It's called the Philosopher's Bench. An anonymous person on Google Maps calls it a transient space where reality and imagination blend and lapse into ethereal realization. A second person says, I don't know how people can sit here. I agree with the second person. I have yet to find this stinky bench in real life though. Just like ORN's elusive reputation of being the birthplace of future bureaucrats, I'm yet to discover what about both these places deserves its eminence. ORN, the way I have come to see it, with its 0.076% success rate, is a city of broken dreams, broken wings, broken spirits. With its barrage of coaching centers or their advertisements or study material in every single bookshop, it feels dystopian to me. As I walk, I feel the cracks of these broken dreams strewn across the street. I imagine them crunch underneath my shoes. The people digging up the roads, digging so no other kids drown in libraries next rainy season, found decades worth of broken dreams buried underneath our feet. Millions of them, stratified each year to make this place what it is. I hear them say to me, crunch, 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 motherfucker. You thought you were worthy? Guess not. These are all relics of people who've packed up their belongings and gone home. They restarted their lives 2, 4, 6 years later, only to find that the rest of the world had moved on. All of this depressing, yes. Was it a secret? No. We all knew this, and yet this is where we all came to live. Right here among these old buildings, in an unassuming locality of Delhi, lies hundreds and thousands of aspirants. Apparently, the word aspirant originates from Latin, the word aspirare, which is a verb meaning to breathe upon, to strive for. The term initially conveyed a sense of inspiration and longing, but it has gradually evolved to encompass ambition and effort towards a specific goal. As we breathe upon our tiny desks in humid classrooms, scribble over stacks of newspapers in dusty libraries, and find friendships in cramped living spaces held together by walls that hold the ghost of 4 generations of paper maps stuck to them and taken off. Every PG room holds memories of students who've tried and failed and tried again repeatedly. All of us highly motivated corpses on the slopes of Mount Everest. Landlords, library owners, coaching centers, and food stall owners. The locals of this place have seen it all. They don't blink an eye. They've seen you 1,000 times over and you've just met them. Despite it all, people stay here for years on end. They spend large chunks of their 20s here, fall in love, fall out of love. They come here, they stay, and then they leave. Having the audacity, the perseverance, and so much hope to show up every day knowing the odds and, as some would say, against practicality and reality. And I have learned this firsthand that this is not easy. Of late, I have been reflecting on the choices that have led me here. After all, I'm not the archetype of the average UPSC aspirant, a privileged, arguably elite English educated city girl with no respect for authority showing up to a government school in the scorching heat of May for the last 4 years to become a bureaucratic babu is not the norm. There are many reasons people pursue UPSC, power being the most common one. I always find it interesting, the self righteous rejection of power being a worthy goal to pursue by those who have not felt the helplessness of poverty or discrimination. Urban circles may snark at those who choose to pursue this with a wide stroke of greed, but the reality is way more sentimental. A government job, to many, lies with the hope of upward social mobility that may take generations to achieve otherwise. It symbolizes security, prosperity, success, and very importantly to many people, a way to make their parents proud. I have been fortunate to not have felt such powerlessness in my life, and hence power was not my goal. But I am guilty. I'm guilty of having more than my fair share on this planet. I have a phone, an internet connection, access to education from a young age, the environment to pursue it to the extent of my willingness to do so, and a childhood with nutritious food and consistent and attentive caregiving. I was sent to schools where teachers' attendance wasn't a political issue. Washroom access was a given, and I was not shot at on my way to class. I didn't have to stay at home to allow my brother to study or be killed for marrying outside caste lines. Pursuing UPSC was a function of my empathy. I wanted to use my privilege to work towards creating a world where those that were not as fortunate as I have been get every opportunity that I take for granted. I wanted to work on matters of housing, sanitation, access to affordable, quality healthcare, education, and contribute to the fields of welfare, gender equality, and human rights. Unfortunately, despite my best efforts, UPSC did not pan out for me, but my goals remain steadfast. If I can be real with you, I am disappointed. 4 years of spending 14 to 16 hours a day in libraries, hundreds of mock tests solved, thousands of newspapers read, and stacks of books memorized, with nothing to show for it. But I guess that's life. You work towards something and sometimes it doesn't work out. So you pivot, you reinvent yourself, you start fresh as many times as needed. You hold on to hope, and until you get to where you want to be, you find small ways to experience joy and relaxation, just as everyone in that park. ORN is not a destination, but it's still a home. It's never ideal, but it's where your flatmate, with tears in her eyes, will tell you, meeting you is like stopping by a highway dhaba in the middle of a long night's tiring journey to find the best paratha you've ever had. We separate ways in the pursuit of our dreams and goals, but it was special to have shared a home with you. Yesterday, I hugged her a tight goodbye, packed my books and belongings, and got on a flight home. We all come to this park in the middle of ORN to play, to talk, to reflect, to reminisce. We hope that tomorrow things will be easier, better. We live our lives in the hope that our efforts will bring us salvation. And when they don't, we pack up our broken dreams and come home to lay some new ones.
देख वो तो कहता है